30 seconds live. Okay, we're live in 10. We are live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, good evening, good afternoon, good evening. So everyone, let me say hello and officially welcome. Welcome to BYOB. Yes, this is Be Your Own Bank, Hidden in Plain Sight broadcast. So first, let me just say I'm grateful. This is Tasha M. Dyer, the Trade Whisperer. And so normally, who do you hear from first on our broadcast? It is Bishop, but he is not here with us today. He is actually traveling, but we do have our colleagues with us. We have our visionary, Mr. Jody Rogers, and then also we have Dr. Craig Bythewood. But I'm excited because we have a panel of hosts. Today is a special broadcast, right? I want to make sure that each and every last one of you tune in. Make sure you share it because this is November. And what happens in November? We salute veterans, right? So this is officially our Salute to Veterans show. And we have members of the BYOB movement, 2 million strong, right? So we have members of our BYOB movement that are here with us today that are veterans, and they have made a decision to put them and their families first. So ladies and gentlemen, definitely want to welcome Rejoice 904, just hello, welcome, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever you're calling in from and watching us from, make sure you share this stream. Hello to all of you all. I want to allow our visionary and Dr. Bythewood to say hello to you all, and we'll definitely go ahead and get started with our broadcast today. Mr. Rogers.
Hey, welcome. I'd like to welcome our guests. First of all, I want to pay homage to our broadcast partner, the Rejoice904.com network, our listening audience. We are absolutely excited. The Plain Sight broadcast. You are absolutely in for a treat this evening regarding what we're doing, where we're headed. And big shout out to the Trade Whisperer, Ms. Tasha M. Dyer, my colleague, Dr. Craig Bythewood, and in his absence, Bishop Harold Rollison. So Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, wherever you get an opportunity to see this broadcast from, hey, I need you to do us a favor. I need you to like and share. And with that being said, get your popcorn ready because we are going to feast, and it's going to be very buttery today.
Welcome everyone to our Tuesday radio program, where we are going to have a very special episode where we honor our esteemed veterans. So Veterans Day is something that we participate in every month, but I am extremely pleased that my colleague, Ms. Tasha M. Dyer, a veteran herself, has come up with this great concept so that we can actually actionize this and celebrate those within our movement that have, as she stated recently, risked their lives for our nation. So welcome every single veteran. Welcome to this call, all of our listeners, and I'm very looking forward to this conversation.
Ms. Dyer.
I'm here. Hopefully you guys can hear me clearly. I think my internet is a little unstable, but if you can hear me, if you can't, I definitely want to give everyone, all of our veterans on the panel, an opportunity to, go ahead and say hello and welcome themselves.
Hold up, Ms. Dyer. We got to be true to form. Are you with us? Because it looks like you are in and out right now. Can you hear me clearly?
I'm trying to fix it.
Are you with us?
Let me fix my internet. I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but it's for some reason you're not coming in as clear as you normally come in. But in the midst of Ms. Dyer getting her telecommunications in order, I just want to have some fun. I know this is an opportunity for us to acknowledge and once again, we are thankful and grateful for our guest. We want to thank each and every one for your service. So as we proceed, before we dive into our subject matter and our content this afternoon, we want to make sure that we do give you the opportunity to share with us who you are. So we're going to make it official. Fall in.
Oh, please. That's a joke. I'm glad my internet went out.
Fall in, receive the report.
Sir, yes, sir.
So we see you know a little something, something.
Who have you been talking to?
But just so y'all know, I am a veteran as well.
Okay.
I did my initial voyage at Fort Leonard Wood and translated to Fort Lee and ended up at Fort Campbell, 101st. So I share the same sentiments as well. I know many of you had the opportunity to retire, but I do know a little bit, about serving our country as well. But today, this is all about you guys. So however, you want to just begin to engage and just share with us, tell your story, previously what you're doing now and how the movement has been an impact and what you see in the future and why it's important that we want to help to increase.
Okay, before they jump in, I am on my phone. I don't know what's going on with my internet, but no, I did hear you say fall in. No, that's kind of not. Nah, that's not how that works. No.
Right, left. Your military left.
So he remembered the 2 cadences that he did.
That is too much.
He remembered the 2 cadences.
Your left.
All right, you guys. So we're gonna go ahead and let everybody introduce themselves.
All right, well, I guess I'll lead out. My name's Genesis Patton. I didn't retire either. I enlisted as a construction equipment operator with earth moving capabilities. And I ETS'd as a combat engineer from Fort Campbell in 2014. I think the explanation I have is, it's not, my situation isn't unique, but the plan that you have when you're coming up to exiting the military, it might not always work out the same, like the ideal way that you have envisioned. My exit initially started off as an involuntary separation, all these cutbacks that everybody used to hear on the news and all that. I got back from Afghanistan and we got these notices that said, hey, if you don't intend to re-enlist, then you got to go. So I'd already served a little bit over 5 years. I got out as an E4, I had no grand titles or nothing like that. But I wasn't committed to furthering what I had going on. So I thought that I had everything lined out. I did my ACAP. I made 50 million appointments. I went to job fairs. I made resumes, and I was convinced I was going to be a tower climber for the foreseeable future, Unfortunately, though, that just didn't work out. It worked out for a while, but in the midst of my plan, I had circumstances with my family that took me away from this career path, and I was making my way along in my career too, progressing and all that. And right in the middle of all this momentum that I was building, I had to give all that up for some quite personal reasons. And thank the Lord that, I had been brought across BYOB before I had to come off the road. Because nowadays I can confidently say that I'm a full-time currency exchange trader, thanks to our visionary and our trade whisperer, Tasha Dyer. I couldn't have been here without any of you guys. And why I feel that BYOB is so important for veterans specifically is because of just why I said, your plans don't always work out the way you intend them to, And another reason too is serving your country isn't just serving the military, by participating positively in your economy, you're still serving your country. Serving your economy is serving your country, right? Another thing that I feel is very important is if there's anybody that's still active duty right now, they're still in service, this is even more important for you because you will never have the time like you have right now. You will never be as disciplined as you are right now, right? And BYOB really has it gives you the ability to move forward calmly. You know, there's anxieties attached to this stuff. We've been serving in the military for X amount of time. We had a specific set of skill sets. You know, even though I joined to be a construction operator, I didn't gain any qualifications as a civilian at that time. I had to get out of the military and reacquire all of those and everything. You know, so I didn't exactly gain the trade that I thought I was going to gain. You know, so when it come time for my plan to shift in BYOB to carry me, I can't tell you how amazing this journey has been. Another reason why BYOB is so important for service members is because beyond all the side jokes, they give you $100 and want 99 back. You know, I've never believed in that. I joined when I was 18, turning 19. And I immediately started making more money than a lot of people that I had graduated with. Most people, as a matter of fact, not everybody now, but a lot of people, you know. And after going to the military for so many years, you know, I had built up things I was responsible for. You know, I got married while I was in the military. I purchased cars. I had bills I didn't have before I went in. You know what I mean? And these things don't go away just because you ETS, right? These things don't go away just because your plans change, okay? BYOB allows you to be more dynamic, you know? No matter what you choose to do, you know, it's always helpful to have another stream of income, if not to have just one powerful stream of income, you know what I mean? And BYOB can be that and so much more for you. Like I said, the main important thing for me to get through to vets is that, you know, that money that they gave you while in the military, you're no longer covered by that blanket anymore. You know, I always saw that there was some kind of crutch. You know, everybody's always willing to give you loans, like boom, nothing. You know, you can walk in and sign yourself up for financial ruin, you know. But with BYOB, it gives you the ability to not have to be in such reckless conditions. You know, I can literally sit down here at my computer, you know, enjoy my time with my family, take care of my household, and watch my trades just go to the moon all day, you know. And you know, through good days and bad days, you know, sticking to the discipline that you reattach yourself to in trading, it changes your entire life. You know, there's a lot of issues that I dealt with coming out of the military too, that I just had no handle on for real. And when I had to engage myself in these charts and realize that there were certain things I had to deal with, when I tell you BYOB can change your entire spectrum, it can cause an entire shift, you know. But I also don't want to go on too long. We've got a lot of other vets on here with so much valuable information for you guys. I'm telling you, this information unless anybody's handing you the word of God, you're not going to get anything more valuable than what we have for you here at BYOB, honestly.
Amen. And I'm back. All right. Who else do we have?
Hey, Genesis. Hey, thanks for leading the way. I couldn't find the unmute button, but now I figured it out. So hello, everyone. I'm Tasha Perrin, retired major, Army engineer, currently a senior program analyst supporting Army science and technology. This was not initially supposed to be my path at the retirement. So I thought that I could live off of my Army pension until I went through the transition workshop and realized that I needed a plan B. And my plan B was to become a commercial truck driver. But then the pandemic hit. Then I had a conversation with my son. And I was like, what are we going to do? Because my son is also a veteran. He's an Air Force veteran. And he was like, well, Mom, I'm looking into the foreign exchange. And I was like, okay. I know someone who is pretty incredible. Everything she touches, it turns to gold. She's really smart. She's my friend. We serve together, Tasha M. Dyer. I don't know about the group you're working with when it comes to the foreign exchange, but I know Tasha. So let me talk to her. So I called her that night. We came up with a plan. I started learning how to trade. I started being a part of the BYOB movement. And I'm here today, and she asked me to speak, and I feel honored and blessed. I really appreciate you reaching out and allowing me to speak to other people about BYOB, my journey, and how at one point it was sort of kind of like a last resort, but now it's like my first resort. So yeah, I am working, and that's fine too. And eventually, I hope to be like you, Genesis, where I can quit my day job. But yeah, so BYOB, that really gave me the confidence and the ability to learn how to be my own bank and not rely on banks. And the reason why I say that, every time when I've ever needed money, I could not go to my parents, I couldn't go to family or friends. I had to go to a bank. I don't want to go to a bank anymore. I want to be my own bank. And so I'm going to continue with the training. I'm going to continue to reach out to the community and learn so that I can fulfill that dream. And that's all I have.
Amen. Who else do we have on here with us today? I promise if you all speak at once, I can't hear you.
Good evening, everyone. I am Teresa Joseph, Lieutenant Colonel, retired type, airborne, MP. Airborne, MP, retired type, did 25 years of service to this great nation. I will share with you, and currently I'm a federal employee. I'm the Air Administrative Office Director for the Southeast area of the Agricultural Research Service. It only took me 6 months to learn that title. Okay, but I had a family member introduce me to Be Your Own Bank. And then I had the wonderful Miss Dyer say, hey, you Lieutenant Colonel retired, look at this, Boots to Bank. And I was all in, because in the military, we spend, we're servant leaders. As I said, I spent 25 years serving my soldiers in this nation, and we take care of everybody. We take care of everybody but ourselves. Okay, we pour into everybody but ourselves. And then when we exit, there's nothing there, because as Ms. Pern said, we expect to be able to live on half of what we were making and living on in the military. But guess what? On the outside, there's no BAH, there's no VHA, there's no BAQ, there's none of that. Okay. And Uncle Sam takes 35% off the top of whatever job that you go and get. Okay. So one form of income, half of one form of income is not going to be enough. You have to have, and I say a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C when you exit the military. But the beautiful thing is, Be Your Own Bank can be all of that for you. Be Your Own Bank can be your plan A, B, and C, because it equips you with the tools and the resources and the knowledge that you need to supplement anything that Uncle Sam has given you. And eventually, okay, Uncle Sam will be your play money, because your Be Your Own Bank account will be, like Mr. Genesis says over there, your major source of income. Battles, it is absolutely important to have another skill set waiting on you when you exit the military. Be Your Own Bank. Boots to Bank is your answer.
Absolutely. I like how you brought out all of those BAH, BAQ, all of those allowance pays that go away. That all of that is gone. It's gone. It's gone.
That airborne pay, gone.
Gone. Everything is gone. So, all right. Who else?
for you, gone.
All right, who else do we have? I know we have our Army banker too, right? Where you at, Army banker to be your own bank?
Hey,
I'm gonna call you out.
hello, hello everyone. Clinton Jones. I go by Jay. I'm a retired Sergeant First Class with over 20, 21, almost 22 years. I did 3 months shy. They wanted me to go to Korea after deployment, and I said no. Time to focus on family. I'm a licensed real estate professional here in Columbia, South Carolina. When I got out, I told myself I needed another skill set. I hear everyone saying they needed a skill set after they got out the military. Well, I always had a passion for real estate. So I got out and got my license. And shortly after, I was offered a job teaching on the military base here at Fort Jackson. I was a contractor, and what I didn't know about that, I started making pretty decent money. And at the end of the contract, after a year, we sat in a conference room one day. It was about 5 o'clock, and we were told that we should go home because we would find out if we had a job the next day. And I was like, "Are you serious?" And I was like, "Well, what am I going to do for my family? I have my retirement, but it's not enough to take care of my family." So I was blessed to be a contractor for about 7 years, transition, and I'm finally now a government civilian working as a training specialist. I actually do Blackboard administration for officers, kind of like with the college platform. But I have a personal acquaintance with Ms. Dyer that goes back to, what was that, 94, 95? Ms. Dyer?
Way back. Yes.
I try to be respectful and say Ms. Dyer, but I know her as Tasha.
He was my
I've seen her
supervisor.
grow.
You know, he is private.
She's come a long way. But you know, I had seen her posting things on Facebook, and it was about the women learning how to do something, and I was like, okay, well, it sounds really interesting. I said, but she's not saying men. So I said, well, it's not for men. And one day she called us out of the blue, and I told her, I said, well, I was always kind of interested, but you said it was for women. And she said, you know what? I'm changing that right now. And she talked to me about it. And she said, you know, what we did in the Army, we didn't know what we were doing. Now, I had the opportunity to be a banker 3 times, once in Kuwait, once in Qatar, and once in hard currency, U.S. and foreign currency. Had no idea the foreign currency transactions that we were doing every day. There was an electronic market, the FOREX, foreign exchange market, and how it all related to each other. So fast forward, she talked to me and my wife about it, and I said, well, I don't know much about foreign exchange. I thought I knew something about it. I heard about the Dow Jones, didn't know anything about it, not much. But I trusted Tasha because we have a background, and I knew she had MBA. She had a certified financial planner. She was very money focused. I'm very money focused. So when she told me, she talked to me about the 6 billion, did you say 6 billion, $6 trillion market?
Yeah.
The $1 trillion market. And I was like, okay, you have my attention now. So the academic foundation with the IM Academy, because I've been an instructor, and I said, okay, well, they're just going to teach me some stuff. But when I saw the platform, I said, wow, this is actually real. And then when I saw the technical analysis training that she provided, and the doctoral lectures that we get from Dr. Blythewood, I was like, you know what, this is phenomenal. And how Mr. Rogers tied everything in with his background, I said, well, oh, he's in real estate. Miss Tasha's in real estate, and they're in the finance and investing. And then he tied in the faith and finance. I said, oh, you really got me now. And when it took me about a month before I finally pushed the button and actually got my first live trade. And my goal was to make $235 a day. That's what I made as a government worker, $235 a day. Well, the first day I made that in one trade, I said, whoa, this is something real. And then when it progressively got higher, I told my wife, I said, babe, this is something that we could potentially do as veterans to potentially leave the government service. I won't have to wait 10 years and retire doing this. I could learn this skill set and work doing this full time and focus on my family and pass this on to my family so we can have some generational knowledge and wealth that I've been able to be part of this program and let my friends and family know about it. And to the other veterans, it was an honor and pleasure serving with likes of those of you. And I'm just eager to see where the movement is going to go from here.
2 million strong, I'm telling you. Boost the banks.
Strong.
Boost the banks. All right, who else?
Boost the banks.
Who else? So yes, he knew me as private. So I've come a long way, guys. All right, who hasn't had the opportunity to speak?
I can go.
Awesome.
All right, well, my name is Captain Michelle Steidel. I'm currently serving in the Army Reserves with the Civil Affairs Unit. My background is in the Adjutant General Corps, so human resources. And I think, you know, I was grateful to my friend who was also an Army officer who introduced me to the BYOB movement. And I'm very, very thankful that she did. And it's just been helping me to transition my mindset. Currently, I own and operate my own small business from home, but this could expand opportunities just beyond anything that I could have envisioned before. And I think the most important thing about the Boots to Bank portion of BYOB is that they're reaching out to a vulnerable population, people that are used to a sense of community, people are used to structures of support. And oftentimes we don't have those as we either transition or we leave the service. So that's one thing I truly appreciate about Boots to Bank specifically in the BYOB movement.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. All right. Who else? Who has not spoken? It's two more, you guys, right?
I guess I could go. Hi, everybody. My name is Gio Sama. Hopefully everybody's out there safe and blessed. But I know Miss Tasha for years. She's become a good friend of mine. And I have to tell you, I was in the Air Force, not for long. I am a very bad employee. I've been spoiled and always been working on my own since I was a teenager. So I was going to school, college. I'm like, there has to be something better. So I went to the Air Force. So I became a security police dog handler for the Air Force, and it wasn't for me. Definitely not. That's when I firsthand got to know what discrimination was, because I'm Spanish. My family's from South America, so it just wasn't for me. So at the time of Desert Storm that's when I served. And they went ahead and start paying. If everybody remembers this, they start paying people to get out of the military. So I put both hands. I'm like, I'm out of here. I got to do something better. But during the transition, I didn't know what to do. I was still young. This is almost 30 years ago. I am 51 now, so imagine that. I just newly got wed, newly married, and when I got out, we went through the transition period of it, but you know, it wasn't. It still didn't help. It was a nice thought, but didn't know what to do. You know, at 21 years old, I didn't know what to do. So it was a whole new life, a whole new career. I just didn't know what to do. And of course, what you learn in the military, you really can't necessarily take it out in the civilian world. So I had to start all over again. Went to college, and went to Miami-Dade Community College. I was still living in South Florida back then. Then I went to FAU, the whole 9 yards, and did something with my life in that point. 30 years down the road, here I am now. I've been in the real estate business for about early 90s. So it's been almost 27, 28 years in the real estate as an investor and as an actual real estate agent, on and off. I just finally got my license back again just last year, finally decided to do so, but I've always been in real estate. That has been my passion. So when, I actually approached Tasha in this at the first time, and I wasn't ready for it. I was in it, but not in this sense. So I didn't feel like, it's for me. This was 2017, if I'm correct, Tasha. But with that said in mind, so just recently this year, I went ahead and also saw her post, and I'm like, you know what? Let me get a hold of her. Let me see what this is really all about. So, we start talking, and based on my experience, I was asking some questions. So I'm like, you know what? This sounds nothing but what I'm used to, what is out there in Facebook, in Google, and YouTube, the whole 9 yards. It's not the same. So it piqued my interest, and it took me a while to a few days actually to just go ahead and call her up and say, Tasha, I'm in, I'm all in. I think this is definitely something that's good for me. It's good for my family, and it's good for everybody around me. That's my loved ones. So it's definitely a great opportunity for people in the military. I know we've been talking about military people, but we also got to consider the spouses, the family members, all of those military people, because they also go through the ordeal that the military servicemen and servicewomen are going through. So, as a whole, that's why I call people not just necessarily family, everybody who's your loved ones. That's my word, loved ones. Everybody you love needs to be part of that sphere. And, I believe in the movement. I spoke to Gerald D. Rogers as well. Originally, I love the vision that it goes. I love the way that it encompasses. It's international. I heard Tasha talk about, not to keep it quiet. What is it? The Witness Protection Program. So, and I like that. I like that it's true. So now I'm into the movement. I've learned to trade. Before, I'm used to just signals and this and that. And it wasn't really all that. So when she sat me down, she's like, look, let me teach you. I'm showing you the skill set so you can do this on your own. I love that part of it, so I am driving my own success in my own path for my loved ones. I choose a time, I choose when, I choose how, so I love it. And I think everybody should start definitely as a supplement income. So keep on doing what you're doing. But it helps as you start getting better. And as you plugged in, like they say, you're learning each day. I'm always just wowed. I'm like, wow, I just learned something new. I didn't think about this. There's so many things that come up while you're by yourself that you don't have a chance to ask. But during this plugins, the calls that we have, I think we have 40 plus calls a month, right? Yeah. So, it gives opportunity to, once you're plugged in, to still learn something new every day. And it makes me more confident in my trades. And so I'm happy with it. I'm happy with the movement, and I'm happy. And since I'm really happy, I want to share with the world. I want to share with people, let them know exactly, what, this is what I found. I found peace in this. I found confidence in this, that I can definitely take my family, my loved ones to the next level, and leave a legacy for them for years to come, to grandchildren, great grandchildren, even more than that, and it all starts by oneself, believing in yourself and moving forward with them. All you gotta do is just, I'm this type of person, being in real estate, I've learned to not, don't start all over, just follow the system, ABC, 1, 2, 3, and you'll see gradually the system works, and this definitely works. So I'm really pleased to be part of this, and I appreciate the fact that I was asked to also participate in this, BOOTS2BANKS. Go Air Force! Hoorah!
Oh man, we're not gonna start that. Y'all know we're not gonna do that.
Don't hate, I appreciate
You
it.
had me to the very end.
You exactly. Tell her I was with him. I was
drinking the Kool-Aid.
I was with them.
I was here right then.
It stopped at that moment. So I'm just. So now, for those of you listening in, I see it. So many of you all. We thank you for your support. Everybody's thank you for your service. They love the testimonies. They're loving, what they're hearing. but I just want everybody who is not associated with the military, we don't get along. The Air Force and we know. So I just want you all to know. So because you see why we were with him to the very end, you know. So
Yeah.
we know they don't work, they just show up. But that's not what this broadcast is about today. That's just not what it's about. I see you all covering your face like we know that's not what this is about. All right. So, all right, we have one more. Did we hear from our warrant officer? She hiding in the background.
I am here. I'm Regina. I am retired warrant officer, chief warrant officer from the Army Reserve. I was on active duty for the regular 3 years, and then I did the rest of my time in the reserve and retired from there. I was in administration, and I also was a food service warrant officer, which helped me a lot in civilian because I was able to transition over into a position as the medical director for nutrition therapy and long-term care. And that helped me to get my certification, which was great. However, being a single parent coming out and struggling to find your niche back into civilian, it was a little difficult and rough. I'm not gonna say that it wasn't. So I just feel like not only single parents, but I guess I do want to gear towards single parents is that being a part of the BOYB movement will help you to sustain and to support your family where they're like the major was saying that it's difficult for you to, let's see, okay, it is difficult for you to try to supplement your income when you're getting all of these different types of benefits from the military. So when you come out, you're not getting that. And in addition to that, calculating your income, you also have to add in the taxes that you're going to be paying for the extra income because you don't pay taxes on your BAQ and your rations or whatever. So that's extra. So going through all of that and then finally finding your way through. But with BOYB, the movement, I mean, you can eliminate all of that by being a part of something that is spectacular. So you're already being a part of an organization. So you have that camaraderie already. So coming into this movement, you have like so much support. There are so many calls, like he said, it's about 40 calls a month. So when you come into this movement, you're not by yourself. There are so many people here to support you in so many different aspects.
I love it. So just so you understand, she's saying we have a battle rhythm. All right, what she said is we have a battle rhythm in place. That is what we're used to: structure, organization, battle rhythm. So just to hear from me, because I know my audio was kind of out at the beginning, you know, this movement, BOOTS2BANKS, is for us. It is for us as veterans, right? And it is all about that transition. Because as you just heard from all of them, right? You just heard from everybody. Thank you all for coming on. You know, we're not done. We still have about 25 minutes to go. But I want to say thank you because this is a passion of mine. And it is because I actually got to serve on both sides. You know, I enlisted. So this was that ticket. This was, you know, for me personally, my story is it was that ticket. I come from a single family household. My mother was terminally ill and I'm the oldest. So for me personally, this was the way out. This is what gave me that step up in life. So the military was great. It was the best thing that I could have possibly done with my life at that time, you know, and so I stepped out and I stepped out on faith because was it some fear with the unknown? All of those things, absolutely. You know, I had my daughter and so ended up in another country, you know, as a single parent. So all of these things that, you know, it really, and it gives you a sense of community. And then I don't know what I would have done in my life at that time had it not been for that, because I had to be able to take care of her, trying to go to school, trying to do those things, right? And so, and that's where, you know, you heard Mr. Jones, Jay, you know, you heard him speaking of our relationship because him and his wife was very instrumental. He was my supervisor, but when someone else just mentioned the families, his wife was very instrumental in my support because I was young. And so I was a young single parent in another country. And so I'm definitely going to give you a shout out, Sonia. I love you for life, because she was there. She was a support ticket. She was a support. She was someone that was there. And that whole sense of community is something that does not transition into the civilian world. That is something that we don't get to experience. But then just think about being overseas and being, in different places, everything so let me give you with the finance background. The only thing that's taxable is the thing that ends in pay. Okay. Everything else is not taxable, but yet the only thing that you receive in retirement is half of your base pay. So there are many things that we grow accustomed to, many securities that we grow accustomed to, many provisions that we grow accustomed to that does not transition, right? It does not transition into the civilian world. That whole thing where you have to fend for yourself, where you have to, the transition program does not help you get a job. So I went from, and I experienced it on both ends. I experienced it as an enlisted personnel, and I also experienced it as an officer, because to go through the Green to Gold program, you had to process out. So during that process, I actually I did both of them, the Reserve and the National Guard, because I went from one to the other. So because they keep your time in service going. And so I transitioned out. So now here I am with a family trying to take care of that and go to school to complete my Green to Gold program. Then I became an officer. And even that transition, it is different for an officer from enlisted. I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to be very real. The way they treat enlisted personnel to the way they treat you as an officer is completely different. But at the same time, they're not helping you with the equivalence. One of the things that we don't get is how to negotiate for pay. That's not something you're concerned with in the military. All you're concerned with is your rank. You're not taught to negotiate for your pay, to understand the value that you're worth. So we, as myself, and I heard Tasha parents say that what she also had to do was we hired people to help us job hunt, the job hunters. And so we hired those recruiters, and they send you to seminars and coaching and, training you up so you can have a decent job when you get out. And so for me, it was many that I turned down because I was like, I could have stayed in the military for this, because once again, now you're at that upper level management. And so you're still having to move and transition and do all of those things where they're moving you. And I wanted to be with my family. And so what this is, also when you transition, right, you're let's just say on average somewhere in your 40s, okay? That's that average age group. You feel like you're 18 because you don't know what you're going to do. You don't know. It's like, now, what do you mean I have to figure out life? You never even had to be concerned with where you were going to live. So, then when you move, like you talk about either renting or buying a house, down payments or first month's rent or whatever it is you have. Have y'all heard of dislocation allowance, right? They pay you, they're paying all of that for you. So this is a huge transition that many people are not ready for. And that transition is not there. And so this is what this movement is all about and why it's so important, because we're taught to lean forward in the foxhole. We're taught to pay it for Air Force guy. That means that we're taught to look forward. Now, let me stop. But we're taught to lean forward in the foxhole. We're taught to, pay it forward. We're taught to do all of those things. But then the reality is what about your family? What about you? Because we're taught to, plan for the military, plan for life. Matter of fact, when you first go in, the reason they strip you down, whether it was OCS or boot camp, is to conform you to their way of thinking, conform you to be the best soldier. And yeah, I said soldier, that we could be. But yet, so what happens is now what? Because there's no unconforming. And so we have a hard time transitioning. And so that's what this movement is. Let's pay it forward and lean forward for our families, for us, for ourselves. And I see the visionary. Mr. Rogers, you want to add something? You want to jump in?
Yeah, I really want to, we definitely want to get Dr. Bythwood an opportunity to chime in as well. But what I really want to be able to accomplish with this amazing audience is a couple of things, from individuals like yourself, understand that, the military has been great, but then that transition period, how can we be more effective and efficient to making sure that our message is heard loud as the cadences that we're all accustomed to, that we because we're in the right cadence, we're all able to move and sync. So that's one of the things, that's my question to anyone who wants to answer that question, but definitely want to give Dr. Bisley an opportunity to dive in here as well.
I
So-
gladly would like to yield to this audience, so please continue.
So I like to say, is it possible if we had a booth up at AUSA? Anybody on the military panel familiar with AUSA? Okay, so AUSA is a platform where industry and other military partners, they display what they want to sell, bring, train, or give to the military. So I had to talk to Tasha a little bit about that offline. But also, I think the second thing is that we as military personnel, we need to get the word out. For example, my last military school that I went to, it was 1,600 of us. And it doesn't matter what state I go into, what military building I go into, I always see one of my classmates. And we remember each other because we've been there for a year. Sergeant Major's Academy, you're there for a year. It's thousands of troops there. And I'm sure it's the same for like the Air Force Tech schools and whatever you call it. And also the Warrant Officer Mafia, you guys are close. We got to get the word out to each other. Each one teach one. So I would say that would be the alternate plan. Primary, think about setting up some booths somewhere. Not exactly sure where or how. I know that you're better at marketing than I am. As a matter of fact, I'm taking a class on marketing next quarter. But yeah, I think that's where we could start as novices. Set up booths, get the word out to the people that you know, and not just your colleagues, but your family, as some of the other folks mentioned on the panel.
And then I also,
oh, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Wanted to add to her ideas that once we are able to do that, we could also offer, we could start like a boot camp.
So no, I'm all for it. Like, I want you guys to understand the power of why we're doing this broadcast and the power of, because we are a community, right? What did you just hear? The Warrant Officer Mafia. I personally experienced that, right? You do not mess with the mafia. Like, that's just what you don't do. And so when you understand the power behind that, then you understand that our voice has more power. And so we are 2 million strong. So if I'm speaking to my battle buddies, right? We slept on the ground together. We deployed together. You know, you talking about being on a deployment, you know, for an entire year where you've left your family. This is your family, right? So all we have to do is open our mouths. You know, all we have to do is share the movement. You know, let's kick the door in strong, because too many people need and are waiting for this information. You know, that's really where this is. And so it's boots to banks. We are a community of veterans that are going to change it, because look at all the veteran organizations out there. Think about all the empowerment that can come through us empowering, because they're always looking for funding, needing assistance, right? Veterans. So just think about all that we can do because of what this movement is going to bring. So Dr. B, is any of y'all had anything else to add to Mr. Rogers' question?
I was gonna add, we can target our marketing toward those lettered veteran agencies, DAV, Wounded Warriors, those personnel need this. And, you know, they all have days where people can come in and do presentations to their audience. And it would be really good at the national level, because they all have national levels, to break into that chain somewhere, Miss Dyer, and get on their platform to be able to engage with them.
Ms. Tasha.
I'm listening. I say I got a comment. My nonprofit support her boots. Okay.
Ms. Tasha,
Yes.
I was thinking they called it something. I believe they called it ACAP when I retired, but now they call it Soldier for Life.
What?
You know, as
They're
a
not
soldier,
letting us go. They're not letting us go. Break
Yeah.
the chains.
they talk to the soldiers. You know, it's the transition prep, you know, helping with resumes and other things, preparing the soldier to transition from military life to civilian life. Well, what they don't tell you is how to earn any additional residual income. I think that would be a great point if you could convince the powers that be to share that platform.
But
at
the
the soldier.
the reality is we're the change, because we are the change. And so I want to, you know, just kind of dive in, because we're right here at the 10-minute mark. And so I want you all, you know, Dr. B, did you have something? Because I want you all, you know, if any final words, because there's a few of you all, it's time for us to be your own bank, because strategically planning or doing any of those things offline is something we can discuss. But the reality is there's nothing more powerful than action, right? There's nothing more powerful than us putting in the work, than us putting in the action. Because what's happening, right, is they're watching us, right? We're the shift and we're the change. You know, when you have a veteran who is not even getting a retirement check, that's now on this broadcast saying, you know what, I am my own bank. I am literally, you know, I'm a full-time, right? I'm a full-time BYOBer. So, you know, you have someone on here speaking and saying that, you know what, I'm probably not going to have to do the full 10 years to retire again. Why do we have to retire again? And so the reality is that for us, we are the shift. We are the change. We set the tone, because what we're accustomed to, why this movement is so important, we set that narrative. We set the tone. So when we make a shift, then they shift, right? When we have the change, then they change. This movement, Be Your Own Bank, is the largest economic empowerment movement, period, in the history of mankind. So now imagine what's going to transpire with the BOOTS2BANKS piece of this movement. Just imagine what's going to happen. What is the way forward? Just imagine the lives that are going to be changed, the battle buddies that aren't going to need the assistance. And one of the things that I know, especially as a commander, you know, one of the things I know is the loans. Someone mentioned it on this broadcast today, is the loans. You could have, like, your credit score could be a 300. I don't know. Is that possible? Your credit score could be a 300 and they're going to give you a loan. Yeah. That's the reality. Somebody is going to hand you a check with a 50% interest rate with a 300 credit score. And, you know, and so, but see, that all of that bad thought process, those things, because they taught you can get a car, no matter what, you are never without. Never, because you serve and they know you got to check on the 1st and the 15th.
It's almost crippling the way that the military supports you, you know?
Yes, so now when I talk about you being a shift and a change, this is why this movement is so important. Because that is why I said it's like you're 18 leaving your parents' house. It's like you're 18 trying to figure out life again, but now you're an adult with more expectations and responsibilities. So this is part of why this movement is so important, because this panel, the people that's in our listening audience, our battle buddies, everybody that's out there, we have the power in our hands to change our community. And that is our veteran community. And that's why we're talking about Salute to Veterans. That is why we're here, because we salute you and we want to extend our hand to you to make sure that you guys understand, right, that you have the power to take control back. Lean forward in your own foxhole. Anyone with any comments, any closing comments? 1 minute closing comments. I'm gonna have to put that because we do, the show does have to end.
I think in terms of the predatory practices you were talking about, you know, social service members just receiving loans kind of willy-nilly, even without proper qualifications and the assets to back up what the repayment terms would be. It's just important for not only people like us, veterans, or those who are currently serving, to support one another, but it would be wonderful to see the military as a whole do more to transition soldiers, airmen, sailors, et cetera, into civilian life, so that they're not releasing a large population of people who aren't capable of functioning the way most civilians have always had to. So I just think that's important that we participate in doing that work.
Yeah, we have to do it. The days are over, whether we're talking about economic justice or, you know, financial justice or military justice, whatever the case may be, nobody's going to, we have to stop, you know, and this is why I get up. This is why I'm on every call. This is why, you know, I'm here, because the days of waiting for someone else to make a shift and a transition, you know, the same thing that I said to Mr. Rogers when we first sat down, when it was just him and I, was our voice has to be the loudest. And when he shared the vision with me, and my response to him was our voice has to be the loudest. And so what has grown is a movement that's now global, a movement that's now touching lives around the world. And so that is the same thing that we have. That's the same opportunity we have right now, is that our voice has to be the loudest. So nobody's going to do it for us, but our voice has to be the loudest, and then they will make the adjustments. That's what's going to happen.
Army, Navy, Air Force, you see I said Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, active duty reservists, National Guard, be your own bank, boots to banks is your answer.
That's right.
Now and in the future for you and your family.
That's it right there. And somebody dropped it in the internal chat. So what did you say? The Space Force too? So we're gonna throw them in there too.
And forget them.
Space Force.
All right, anyone else? Closing comments. We have a few minutes. Dr. B. Mr. Rogers?
Yeah, I just want to appreciate once again each and every one of you, and when I think about the sovereignty of God and how important your yes is to your community, and I want you to really capture the essence of what I'm saying to each and every one of you, because when we launched this initiative in 2018 January, I want you to ask yourself, what were you doing on the 11th of January, 2018 at 7:30 p.m. Eastern? I want you to ponder that thought for a moment. And many of you have just become, over the last 6 months, 7 months, whatever the case may be. But because of the efforts and the diligence of someone like a Ms. Tassim Dyer, the trade whisperer, we now have been able to evolve into where we are right now. And imagine this, because of what you're saying today, your commitment to BOOTS2BANKS, the lives that, because your vibration is so high, 3 years later, 5 years later, 7 years later, 10 years later from this very date that we're having this broadcast, the impact and the reverberation that you have. And as Ms. Dyer said, your voice has to become the loudest voice in your sphere of influences, because obviously we know, because of the close net, the community of veterans, we speak differently to one another. And so it is our desire for your voice to become even more louder than the voice of Ms. Dyer, the voice of a Dr. Bythewood, the voice of myself. And we're committed to doing everything in our capability, our strength, to ensure that we brought it this far, but it's now your responsibility to take it even much further. So that's the importance of this moment for you. This is a kairotic moment where God's timing, when God's timing is at the forefront, then there is natural expansion, and it's in a short time frame and a very intense So I want each and every one of you, I want you to appreciate the fact that for such a time as this, you know, and there are 11 people, I believe 10 guests, 12 included. So your relevance and your significance, 2 million strong. And in order for this mission to be complete, you have to now take ownership and move as we take the next hill and as we advance. So I just wanted to add that commentary. And once again, I'm tremendously appreciative of every one of you. It is tremendously humbling to know that as a leader, the best leadership is always when a leader realizes that the people that God has given him is the most valuable asset. And I'll leave you with this. You know you've led well as a leader when you're no longer the focal point of every conversation and every meeting. So we're talking about true empowerment, and we're ready to pass the baton and the torch to each and every one of you. Back to you, Ms. Dyer.
I love it. Guys, let me personally say thank you. Thank you, my battle buddies, my, you know, my comrades, you know, just thank you all. You know, we served and it was our life. And so I want to thank our listening audience, that every veteran that is listening to us, the time is now yours. The time is yours. You want to make sure that you accept this challenge. Accept the challenge to be your own bank. Accept the challenge to move forward. Accept the challenge to learn a skill set to put you and your family on the other side of money. We've always put America on the right side of freedom. We've always made the right choices for the right. And when you talk about a commitment, there is no greater commitment than willing to give your life for someone else's freedom. There is no greater commitment, because that is literally what it means when we raise our right hand. But now the time is yours. Give your life to yourself now. Give yourself your life back. Give yourself the opportunity to put you and your family on the right side. Put you and your family on the right side of freedom. Put you and your family on the right side and on the other side of money. So how do you do that? Well, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Be your own BYOB Movement Worldwide. Name change. BYOB Movement Worldwide. So you want to make sure that you're subscribed. And when you're subscribed, I want to make sure that you also send us an email, reach out, but be back online tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be back, because what's going to happen is you're going to understand what this movement is about. It is a very strong foundational call, with a basics call with one of our phenomenal educators, a phenomenal individual. And you want to make sure you show up. But let's shift our community and let's shift it. So text BYOB to 55469. BYOB to 55469. Reach out, right? Make sure that you reach out and let us know that you are ready to accept the challenge to be your own bank. We salute you. Boots to Banks, 2 million strong. That is what this is all about. Boots to Banks, 2 million strong. So rally cry, rally cry. We love you. Everybody say goodbye, because we are about to log off. Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Y'all gonna say
Ms.
bye.
Dyer.
Accept the challenge.
Bye, everyone.
Tasha.
Thank you.
I love you all. All right. I love you all. Yeah, I say whoa. This has been a good broadcast.
Good night.
All right. Don't be like, I say whoa. Don't laugh at me.
I'll let you guys.
All right.
Hold on.